tomorrow.
Okay.
But look at Tom's tie, and then it changes over into you guys
Yeah.
down there.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
You are the mixer.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring back your baby blue blazers.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And the ones that come here, polyester. What do they call those, leisure suits? Yeah. I can't imagine if they're 100% polyester. Nothing leisurely about it.
Yeah. The Garden City Commission regular scheduled meeting is called to order. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. The time is 1 p.m. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. And Commissioner Landgraf will lead our Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day you have given us. We ask for your wisdom in all that we do. We ask that you watch over Garden City and especially our first responders. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Next is the approval of the minutes for the last regular meeting, which if no corrections are offered shall stand approved. Are there any corrections? Seeing no corrections, they shall stand approved. Item 5 on our agenda is the public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to share comments for items not on the agenda. If you come up, please state your name for the record. Seeing none, we will move to item 6.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, item 6A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request to allow the mayor to proclaim August 10th, 2026 as Garden City Wind Championship Celebration Day in the city of Garden City, Kansas.
I will entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve the proclamation as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now you know Mr. Ralston is here if you'd like to share some words about this item.
Yeah, thank you for putting me on the spot. I don't have much to share other than I'm completely honored by the support from the city that we've had from day one in 2015 until now. It just, every year it seems to get better and better and better. And this year we finally did. It took me 8 years, but we won a championship. And the support from the community, the crowds that showed up, we were sold out the last 2 games. It was standing room only. It was epic. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Did you all want to take a picture with Randy while he's here?
And
That'd be lovely.
He did bring the trophy.
With the hardware? That was kind of a selfish ask.
Since he brought the...
I almost did. I thought, no, I better not. I should sat it right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you should be here.
Oh my gosh.
I know it non-stop, so yeah. You ready? All right, thank you guys.
Yes, yes. I wonder if we can leave it up here for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Randy would come with it if he was over here and he'd just sit there next to it and guard it. The next item, Mayor's item 6B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request to allow the mayor to proclaim September 2026 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Garden City, Kansas.
I move to approve the proclamation.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Are there anyone from the foundation representing them to speak about this item?
Sure.
Okay, yes, thank you so much for passing that. My name is Cheyenne Christian, and we're starting a nonprofit here in Garden in honor of my son Griffin, that one right there. He had pediatric cancer when he was 3 years old. And so we just wanted to start raising more awareness in our community for this and hopefully start raising funds to further pediatric cancer research. So thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll read a proclamation and we'll grab a photo after. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among children in the United States, affecting thousands of children and their families each year, and whereas each childhood cancer diagnosis forever changes the lives of children, parents, siblings, grandparents, caregivers, and entire communities, creating emotional, physical, and financial challenges that no family should face alone, and whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month serves as an opportunity to honor the courage and resilience of children battling cancer, recognize survivors, remember those who have lost their lives, and support the families, healthcare professionals, researchers, and advocates working tirelessly to improve outcomes for every child. And whereas continued investment in pediatric cancer research is essential to developing safer, more effective treatments, and ultimately finding cures for all childhood cancers, and whereas Griffin's March for More Foundation was established in Garden City, Kansas, to unite our community in raising awareness, supporting pediatric cancer research, and inspiring hope for children and families affected by childhood cancer. And whereas the residents, businesses, schools, healthcare providers, civic organizations, and volunteers of Garden City have demonstrated extraordinary generosity and compassion by supporting efforts to improve the lives of children facing cancer and by standing beside families during their most difficult moments. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Tom, Mayor of the City of Garden City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2026 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Garden City and encourage all residents to recognize the strength and courage of children battling cancer, remember those we have lost, support families facing a childhood cancer diagnosis, wear gold throughout the month of September in recognition of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and join together in advancing awareness, compassion, and hope for a future free from pediatric cancer. Signed and sealed this 18th day of August 2026, Tom, Mayor.
Yeah, he's like, it's not the same. I did promise. It's not the same. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Commissioners, item 6C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Angelica Castillo Chapel on behalf of Community Mexican Fiesta Association to allow the mayor to proclaim the month of September 2026 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Garden City, Kansas.
I make the motion we approve the proclamation as presented.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And then, do you have representatives to speak about this item?
Hello, thanks for having us, and thank you so much for allowing the city, all the volunteers, and everyone that has been behind Fiesta for 100 years. 1926 definitely marks that first official time that the governor of Kansas came out and crowned the queen. As you know, the Fiesta is more than just a 501c3. Our mission is cultural awareness and to give back to the Garden City Community College Endowment for scholarships. For the last 15 years, we represented at Miss Kansas. Garden City has definitely been out there making our mark as the president for about the last 15 years, and just here as the vice president, leading with Fiesta probably the last 23 years. So we're very proud that the Hispanic population continues to grow. We're present. This is home away from home. And we thank you so much for doing this every year for us. The Centennial is going to be a full weekend celebration with the evening dance Saturday night. all the past parade marshals. I'm honored to be your parade marshal this year. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll read this proclamation at the event.
You want to take a picture here?
Do you want to go photo here?
Representatives?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is like so official.
Jen, can I borrow your heels? She's not listening.
Item 6D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Downtown Vision to allow under Code Section 6-1 possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquor at Fall Fest to be held on Main Street on the following date, September 19th, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Mayor and Commissioners, per the City of Garden City's Code of Ordinance, Section 6-1, unlawful consumption or possession of alcohol in public, specifically in any park. Downtown Vision has requested a waiver from Code Section 6-1 for Fall Fest to be held on Main Street on September 19th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The governing body has previously approved requests like this, and I will draw your attention to meetings of note. We actually have Fall Fest listed as September 20th. It is not September 20th on a Sunday, it is September 19th, which is Saturday. But the governing body's alternatives, you may approve the request as presented. The governing body may not approve the request. We do have the vendor here as well as representatives from Downtown Vision if you have any questions. Staff has no recommendations and there's no fiscal impact. And attached you'll also find an email from Downtown Vision and their special events requests.
I'll entertain a motion if there are no questions for staff.
I move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Audra, did you want to speak? Or you don't have to.
I'll just say something really quick. No, thank you very much. Our vendor will be Midnight Oasis. Steve Jesse did it for last year. So we won't actually be on Grand Street or on Main Street. He'll be on Grand Street. So it's a little bit more, it's not as crowded and a little bit more supervision, but he's done great for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6E, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Angelica Castillo Chapel to allow under Code Section 6.1 possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquor at the Community Mexican Fiesta to be held at Stevens Park. Is that for the 12th through the 13th?
Just 12.
That's for the 12th? Yeah, for the evening of the 12th. 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. I think that's 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Correct.
Okay.
Mayor and Commissioners, per City of Garden City Code Ordinance Section 6-1, unlawful consumption or possession of alcohol in public, specifically in any public park, is not allowed. Angelica Castillo Chapel has requested a waiver of Code Section 6-1 for the Community Mexican Fiesta 100th celebration to be held at Stevens Park on September 12th, 2026 from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The governing body has previously approved requests similar to this. Your alternatives before you are you may approve the request as presented, or the governing body may not approve the request as submitted. Staff has no recommendation. There also is no fiscal impact. The email is attached as well from the Fiesta Committee and their letter to you commissioners for the celebration in general, and then also their special events request is attached. If you have any questions, those representatives are also in the audience.
I move to approve the request as presented.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the request for September 12th, 2026 from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
The governing, item 6F, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Eric Sinatiempo on behalf of the Appliance and Furniture Mart for a waiver to the parking requirements and temporary structure requirements to allow for a tent from September 16th to October 19th, 2026 at 1117 Fleming Street to hold a tent and sidewalk sale. Seelan.
Mayor and Commissioners, I would like to correct the part of that issue statement. I received an email late last night from Eric, and they had sent this in originally because they just wanted to make sure that they weren't late in that request. And when they sent the original request, they just gave a broad time frame. So I got an updated request from Eric last night, and the dates that they will have the tent up will be September 26th to October 11th.
You know if that includes like tear down? I don't want to.
I'm sorry?
Does that include tear down for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Set up and tear down. So the governing body may approve the waiver to the parking requirements and temporary structure, or the governing body may deny a waiver to the parking requirements and temporary structure. Staff has no recommendation. There's no fee associated with a special events request. And their original special event request is attached.
Gotcha.
I make a motion we approve the waiver to the parking requirement and temporary structure requirements to allow the tent for the Appliance and Furniture Mart from September 26th to October 11th of 2026.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Seelan. Item 6G, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the following requests from Garden City High School in conjunction with the 2026 football season. Number one, the homecoming game, waiver of an aircraft landing within the corporate limits of the city of Garden City, Kansas, pursuant to code section 14-71 on September 11, 2026 at the football field. And the second request is for all home football games shown below, September 11th, September 18th, September 25th, October 9th, and October 30th, waiving code section ordinance 62-12 to allow single artillery to be shot after any touchdown scored by GCHS.
Mayor and Commissioners, as Matt read, section 14-71 of the Code of Ordinances, landing at other than established airports prohibited, except in the case of an emergency, no person shall land any aircraft within the corporate limits of the city of Garden City upon regularly established except for regularly established airports, fields, or landing places without approval of the governing body. So that request has been brought to you previously. I believe they do it for every homecoming football game. The second part of the request is actually something new. So Garden City High School is also requesting permission to fire a single artillery shell after Garden City High School scores a touchdown during its 2026 home football games. The governing body may approve the request from Garden City High School for the aircraft landing on September 11, 2026, pursuant to code section 14-71, and the firing of a single artillery shell after GCHS scores a touchdown during the listed home football games. Governing body may deny one or both of the requests. Staff recommends approving the request as presented. And there's no fiscal note, and the special events form is attached for your review. Do you have any questions? I can help you.
Do we need to consider for playoff games, or is that already included?
I don't believe that includes playoff games.
That wasn't their request. You could add it to your motion if you wanted to also include any dates of any home playoff games.
And so the home games, every time they do a touchdown, they want to be able to fire an artillery shot.
Correct.
With the hopes that it gets used a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially during the hatchet game. I make a motion we approve the request as presented.
I'll second.
Do you guys,
With the addendum to it for any home playoff games.
I'll second.
there's been a motion and a second to approve the requests from Garden City High School to include request 1 and request 2 with the options for those dates plus home playoff game dates. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celine. Item 7A, under report of the city manager. Earlier this year, the city applied for a better utilizing investments and leveraging development, otherwise known as BUILD grant, to complete planning work associated with 2 grade-separated pedestrian crossings. Recently, the city was notified that this project was not selected. Staff will meet with members of the U.S. Department of Transportation staff to get feedback on the grant application. We were made aware that the project was identified as grant eligible, worthy of funding. So it made a cut in the process. It just didn't make the cut for final funding. So again, this is the second time we've applied for a grant of this nature. The first one was for only 1 crossing. That was prior to kind of full realization of the Starbond 2. And so this reapplication looked at crossings at both locations at the bypass. So we'll continue to try to work to increase the competitiveness of this grant application moving forward. 7B, we have the chiefs here to present their report back on the Independence Day fireworks season. Chiefs?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Chief and I are here to present your 2026 fireworks report. Go to the next slide, please. As you can see, 1,000 community contacts were made. That's either during the tent inspection or a fireworks stand or kind of patrol around the neighborhoods during the authorized days from the 27th to the 5th. With the help of the Communications Department, some flyers and handouts were made while we were doing our patrolling for inspection. We can hand them out to get the rules, regulations, authorized dates and times for fireworks. And the increased visibility from June 27th to July 5th, patrolling after dark and going around and educating people and passing out flyers for authorized dates and times to hopefully get them to stop at 11. So, next slide, please. So the social media campaign, those additional flyers were digitized and shared on the social media. Got some updated pictures this year, and then the analytics show just under 250,000 contacts were made on the social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook and some other stuff. I combined those to get those numbers to about 60. Countywide, fires resulting in this year 12 calls were fireworks related. 5 of those 12 calls were fireworks related. 6 of those fires went undetermined. We did reach out to the St. Catherine's Hospital, but weren't able to get back to us, so we don't have any reported injuries. We cannot transport or treat any injuries in the field. So. Next slide, please.
Good afternoon. The next slide shows the fireworks violations that were reported to the GCPD. We had 53 fireworks violations reported this year, and we issued 25 warnings this year. Next slide.
Next couple graphs. One is fireworks resulting in fires in the city limits. We had 3. And the other one is cost per incident, kind of totaled up to about $1,400. This would be your poly trash cans and your trash can lids, is what was reported the damage.
Next, these are the fireworks violations reported by day. Heavy on the 4th and the 5th, but pretty steady the other days.
And the lower part of that is the fire department's authorized dates and times of the calls that we had on those days, totaling 12. As you can see, it's pretty mighty. I think the rain that came in that couple weeks before kind of greened everything up, and we're able to have a safe 4th of July this year.
The next 2 slides are just maps. One's kind of a specific point map, and then the next one's a heat map of where all the violations were. that were reported to the GCPD.
And then incidents by time to be expected. As you can see, the later it gets darker, the more people launch artillery shells and setting fireworks, causing an increase in incidents and those later actions.
Finally, the considerations really haven't changed. The big one on this one is the last bullet point, and that's just the consideration of the discharge dates versus the dates of sale. We always advocate that if they're selling fireworks, we allow them to be popped. It just helps us out. I know that some people don't like to hear that, but it frees our folks up from running fireworks violations or attempt to locate on fireworks violations. We would love to answer any questions that you guys have.
Any questions for staff? Thank you, Chiefs.
Thank you.
Items 7C through 7G are staff reports. Are there any questions on those? If not, I'll draw your attention to meetings of note with a couple of additions. You all are invited, were invited earlier, or I guess last week, to a presentation tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. at the Garden City Community College Tedros Student Center Endowment Room from the Kansas Data Trust, which is a research outreach of the Public Policy and Management Center at Wichita State University. They'll have representatives here to give a presentation about what that clearinghouse of information and data research might look like for the state as it grows. They'll also be making a cameo tomorrow at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast too, and get a couple minutes to talk about what that WSU outreach program looks like. Also, as Celine noted, the date change on the Fall Fest, it's the 19th. And then also Commissioner Canales identified September 25th. There is a community cultural event that is going to be held at the fairgrounds, and we'll make sure that's on future meetings of note.
Thank you.
And with that, if any of those require RSVPs, please do those through the city clerk's office. And I think we're ready for item 9A. That's the appropriation ordinance. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2617-2026A.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 2617-2026A.
I second. There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 12A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a reimbursement agreement between the City of Garden City and Finney County for temporary relocation expenses associated with the move to 1210 Fleming for the Garden City Police Department and Finney County Sheriff's Office during the remodel of the existing law enforcement center. At the May 6, 2025 City Commission meeting, the governing body approved the lease agreement between the City of Garden City and Dwayne Coster Trust and Kathy Coster Trust for the use of 1210 Fleming Street. This agreement included approximately 24,000 square feet. At the July 1st, 2025 City Commission meeting, the governing body approved 3 items related to this project. A memorandum of understanding between the city and the county to share the facility at 1210 Fleming, an interlocal agreement between the city and county regarding the use of sales tax proceeds if the sales tax were to be approved by voters, and 3, the First Amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Garden City and Dwayne Coster and Kathy Coster Trust for an additional 6,500 square feet for more comfortably accommodating both agencies. On November 4th, 2025, voters of Finney County approved a ballot question authorizing the county to issue general obligation bonds in the principal amount of $87.5 million. This debt subsequently has been issued by the county, and the funds have been received for the projects identified in the ballot language, which includes the temporary relocation costs for the Garden City Police Department and Finney County Sheriff's Office. At the December 2nd, 2025 City Commission meeting, the governing body approved a renovation agreement between the City of Garden City and Dwayne Coster Trust and Kathy Coster Trust for a total amount of $5,439,246. The renovation of 1210 Fleming started shortly after the renovation agreement was fully executed and is anticipated to be completed by late October or early November of this year. To date, the city has paid $4,158,892 in project costs. The proposed reimbursement agreement authorizes the county to pay the city a lump sum of $5,739,246 to cover the costs of the remodel. Finally, jumped too far, I'm sorry. And the additional relocation costs. These additional costs include expenses related to access control, data cable pulls, signage, moving costs, and limited furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Finally, the agreement recognizes that the current Sales Tax Oversight Committee will expand their scope to include this ballot issue instead of creating a separate committee specifically for this most recent sales tax authorization. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item at their August 17 meeting, and I believe they did that yesterday and it passed. So your alternatives are the governing body may approve this reimbursement agreement between the city and county for temporary relocation expenses associated with the move to 1210 Fleming, or you may not approve the reimbursement agreement, provide alternative direction. Staff recommends approval, and if approved by both the city and county governing bodies, the city will receive the $5,739,246 for the cost of renovating 1210 Fleming Street and additional relocation costs. This will be used to reimburse the city for the costs already incurred related to the project and will be used for future costs associated with the project. Any unused proceeds will be remitted back to Finney County for the purposes stated in the ballot issue. Any questions for staff?
I will entertain a motion for this item.
I make a motion we approve the reimbursement agreement as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 12B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a memorandum of understanding between City of Garden City and Crippa Developers, LLC. Crippa Developers, LLC has contacted the City of Garden City to express interest in the development of vacant property, generally located at 3210 East Kansas Avenue. The proposed project would include construction of a hotel containing approximately 110 rooms under a national hotel brand, which is at this point anticipated to be a Hilton affiliate. The project will also include surrounding retail and commercial facilities. The Memorandum of Understanding outlines the anticipated project costs, along with the anticipated public contributions, including, but not limited to, tax increment financing, community improvement district, retailer's tax exemption through industrial revenue bonds, other city incentives, and transient guest tax. There will be several future City Commission actions required related to this project, but this action initiates the project. It should also be noted that the Memorandum of Understanding outlines the use of transient guest tax, which is a tool that is governed by Finney County, and as such will require separate action from the Board of County Commissioners. City Bond Counsel Mary Carson and Andrew Kovar have assisted in the preparation of the attached Memorandum of Understanding, which has also been reviewed and approved by the developer. Finally, the County Council and Administrator have reviewed and agreed to the language used for the transient guest tax provision of the MOU, as they will be responsible for that portion of the project. The alternatives before the governing body are to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Garden City and Crippa Developers, LLC, or the governing body may not approve the Memorandum of Understanding and provide staff with alternative direction. Staff recommends approval. For the fiscal note, the impact is up to $200,000 from the general fund, and this would be, and if you look at the second paragraph, I would say the fiscal note is describing what the second paragraph considers other city incentives. so this is not discounting that there is a fiscal impact, but it's not with existing funds. It's really kind of the future. Those are all increment tools, and so it would be funds distributed from a newly created increment. From existing funds, the fiscal impact would be up to $200,000 from the general fund. One payment of $100,000 would occur at the time a certificate of occupancy was issued for the national chain hotel brand. Subsequent payments of $25,000 up to $100,000 would occur at the time a building permit is issued for the development of future out parcels. The payment may be used to help offset the fees associated by the city for the project. So this memorandum of understanding also spells out obligations on the part of the developer. There are two that are a little bit new from what we've discussed in the past. One of them is sort of an impact fee related to the findings of the Northeast Corridor Traffic Impact Study. And so while some of those costs are being borne by the city, others of those costs will be borne by respective developments as they develop. And so this is kind of our first application of the fees associated with the impact of the traffic impact study. Those discussions also going on with Starbond Phase 2. The second is in the East Side Sewer Interceptor project and anticipated costs associated with that. And as those costs become more clear, a portion of those costs the MOU spells out will be borne by the developer, commensurate with the size of the property compared to the overall size of the district. Any questions on the memorandum of understanding? Maybe also worth noting, and Attorney Cunningham can help me out. Memorandums of understanding are non-binding agreements, but they're an opportunity to talk about a project publicly, introduce the terms by which the developer and the city would enter into an agreement, but ultimately the decision by the City Commission as to move forward would show up in a formal development agreement. But this kind of lays out the bones of that development agreement. It also sort of frees up and gives some level of confidence to a developer that there's enough interest on the part of the city that they can begin incurring expenses that help them narrow down and identify their costs. Similar, the city can begin finalizing costs that would be proposed and shown in the development agreement. In this case, specifically kind of that Northeast Sewer Interceptor. We already have a pretty good feel on the traffic impact study, but the Northeast Sewer District number is still up in the air.
You did a really good job.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't really add anything. You may see more details in the contract that comes later, obviously, but the MOU really is, I think, the most important thing Matt said is it's that confidence piece. It's that almost that head nod, go ahead and go do what you want to do. We're in support of it. And just we'll have to work out the details of it later, which we do in a lot of proposal instances that aren't MOUs. So, exactly.
I believe this property, so for the public's help, I know we gave a general address, 3210 East Kansas Avenue. If you were standing in the middle of Kansas Avenue looking northwest at Walmart, this is the property northeast of that, between there and the intersection between Mary Street, Jenny Barker, kind of a perfect triangle, but triangular-ish shaped property. And so while the hotel is part of it, the hotel certainly will not take up all of that area. The full development's anticipated to have 4 out parcels. That could change depending on the retailers that the developer brings in. They could break that up into smaller pieces with smaller buildings, or they could have it be larger pieces with larger buildings. But right now there's anticipated to be 4 outlots, hence the dividing of that second 100,000 of the incentive to be 25,000 per lot. And that's modeled after what would be used on although on a smaller scale, modeled after what we used on Shulman Crossing, to encourage, it's in the developer's interest, but it's also in the city's interest, the school district's interest, the county's interest, and the college's interest, all the taxing entities that are partnering in a tax increment financing tool, that TIF district pay off sooner than later. And so while it can go up to 20 years, if the project builds out fast and develops above value above projections, such as Shulman Crossing did, it can that TIF can pay off instead of in 20 years, maybe in that 15, 16-year range. And so incentivizing the development of lots in this way, that cash tool is a time-sensitive tool. If it isn't made good on within a period of time, the carrot goes away, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is a map. Can we pull that up just so we can?
Yes, glad to.
Almost there.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Baseball diamond.
Is that the only map?
That is what it looks like,
Yeah.
yeah.
On this site plan, this would be Kansas Avenue, and this would be Mary Street. Mary Street north of Kansas Avenue.
Right.
This right here is the existing
No.
auto
Is it
parts
AutoZone?
store. Yeah, AutoZone.
O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly, sorry.
One of those.
Yeah.
O'Reilly.
Any further questions for staff?
No, we definitely need hotel stuff, so.
I make a motion we approve the memorandum of understanding as presented.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 12C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the 2028 KDOT City Connecting Link Improvement Program Preliminary Engineering Design Services Agreement.
Good afternoon,
Tyler.
Mayor and Commissioners. So on April 7th, 2026, the governing body approved an agreement with the Kansas Department of Transportation for the 2028 City Connecting Link Program project. The proposed project includes pavement restoration along Fulton Street and US 50 business from 3rd Street to Washington Street. The project requires engineering services for surveying, design, and preparation of construction plans. Once the engineering phase is complete, the project will be led by KDOT for the construction in 2028. In accordance with KDOT requirements, staff solicited requests for qualifications from firms to provide engineering services. We had 3 total qualifications that were submitted. Professional engineering consultants out of Wichita, Kansas, EBH Engineering at Great Bend, Kansas, and Wilson & Company out of Hanston, Kansas were the 3 that submitted qualifications. The Evaluation and Selection Committee consisted of myself, previous Public Works and Utilities Director Mike Muirhead, Rochelle Powell, Director of Aviation, Chance Beal, Patrol Sergeant, and David Baca, Public Works and Utilities Infrastructure Inspector. We selected Wilson & Company, which is the city's on-call engineering firm for the project, and KDOT developed after that a third-party agreement between the city, KDOT, and Wilson & Company for the engineering services based on the scope of service and fees of $152,143.61, which KDOT has received and approved. The agreement is attached and requires the mayor's signature and will then be sent to KDOT for their required signatures. The alternatives before you is 1, the governing body may approve the agreement with the preliminary engineering design services with Wilson & Company for the 2028 KDOT CCLIP project. 2, the governing body may not approve the agreement and redirect staff. The recommendation is that the governing body approve the agreement for the preliminary engineering design services with Wilson & Company for the 2028 KDOT CCLIP project. And the fiscal note on this is the funding for the design phase of the project is distributed at 85% KDOT and 15% city. $22,821.54 for the design will be paid by the city from the material street repair account. That account's spelled out there, which has a current balance of $469,323.22. The total city project cost is $265,000, which will be budgeted in 27 and 28. And yeah, I believe there is a map attached there, but overall project is from 3rd Street to Washington Street, and it's curb-to-curb mainline concrete restoration. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Tyler?
I make a motion. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I move to approve the agreement for preliminary engineering design services with Wilson & Company for the 2028 KDOT C-CLIP project.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Item 12D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the grant agreement for Airport Improvement Project 3-20-0024-052-2026 Taxiway A construction in the amount of $3,451,661. Rochelle.
Good afternoon. In shorter, AIP 52 is actually funding through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and that's why there's two grants in front of you. AIP 53 is our entitlement funds through the FA. So both projects combined will pay for the taxiway section of Taxiway Alpha that we are completely demoing, rebuilding the base, all the pavement, all the markings, all the signs, all the lighting, from approximately the midpoint on our apron to the intersection of runway 1230. The construction project was publicly bid in April. The City Commission approved the bids on May 5th and approved the application for grants or for federal funding in May as well. And now before you is the grant. You may accept the grant, approve the acceptance of the grant. You may deny the grant or provide guidance to staff. Staff recommends approving it. The fiscal note on this is a 95-5 match. So the federal funds are 95% and 5% city funds, and the city funds are allocated to the project from our passenger facility charges that passengers who fly out of our airport pay, and that ultimately goes back to repay that fund. Any questions?
How long construction would be?
So it's a 3-phase project, and over all 3 phases is 160 days. We're hopeful to get started in mid-September, but if the contractor is not able to do that, then we'll start in the spring, just because with pavement and falling over the winter months. Regardless, we will be open all pavement surfaces throughout the winter months, and may do like one phase September through December, take a break, and then come back in the spring, or come and do all of the construction in the spring. So ultimately, 160 days is the contract period.
Great, thank you. Any further questions for staff? I'll entertain a motion for this item.
I can make a motion that we approve the grant agreement for the Airport Improvement Project 52 for Taxiway A construction in the amount of $3,451,661.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Mayor and Commissioners, item 12E, the companion item to the one just described, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the grant agreement for Airport Improvement Project 53, Taxiway construction in the amount of $1,104,267.
Just as I mentioned, this is the same projects, just two funding sources, and this is through our AIP entitlement funds that's for this grant. So if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So they're not widening the taxiway, it's just taking out the current concrete, rebuilding the base, and putting in new concrete. You said also the electrical, the lights and everything are going to get switched out on that? Okay.
Yeah, so this project originally occurred in 2006 and 2007, and it was a project that the majority of the pavement failed to meet strength for the pavement requirements for the FA, and so a lot of the payment was not paid or partially paid, and so the lifespan cycle for the FA is essentially 20 years, and so we've finally met that. In the meantime, our crews out at the airport have consistently patched this pavement. It's very dangerous because the aggregate keeps breaking out, and it creates fog, which is damaging to aircraft propellers and jet engines, and so this is to finally replace it and make it right. But yes, the pavement will stay at 50 feet, which is the what FAA will pay for based on our usage of that taxiway. And yeah, all lights and signs, everything electrical in that section as well will be upgraded.
Any further questions?
Will it meet the needs of the current aircraft that are currently taxiing on the taxi? I mean, because we're getting different aircraft, especially for the employments that we're getting. I mean, we're getting Embraer 175s. We're also getting CRJ 700s as well as 900s. And then every once in a while, I don't know if they taxi on the taxiways, the 737s and the A320s come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have quite the fleet mix now, so any of our projects do take that into consideration. Unfortunately, the FAA will not pay for projects saying, hey, we're going to bring in 757s.
Sure.
They will just pay for the fleet that's currently using the airport.
Okay.
So this meets all those accommodations, and during construction, there will be some back taxing on the runway. We made sure that every aircraft that we currently serve up to a 737, which is essentially the largest that frequently comes through, whether it's a charter flight or a diversion, that all the safety construction plans will accommodate all those aircraft and the flow of the aircraft as well.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the grant agreement for Airport Improvement Project 53 for the 2026 Taxiway A construction in the amount of $1,104,267.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. The consent agenda item is 2 items long. So the appropriate motion, if you don't want to pull one of those off, would be to approve items 13A through 13B.
I move to approve consent agenda items 13A through 13B.
I second. There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
There's no other business. If you want to start with Commissioner reports, Mayor.
Yeah, Commissioner Landgraf.
So I just want to start first by saying congrats to the Garden City Wind on their championship win. I know this is their first championship win, but I'm also certain this will not be their last, and I look forward to many, many more championship celebrations in the future. Also, just want to say we had a great time 2 weeks ago doing the National Night Out. It was great being able to go around with our first responders and talk with everyone. I also just want to say thank you to everyone that hosted an event. It was a ton of fun just being able to go out with our police fire.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Oyler.
I wanted to thank all the crews that were out during the storm last week, especially because so many of them were overnight, and especially with 8th Street and the issues that they had with the lightning strike at the traffic signal. Thank you to all of those crews. I know that I saw people walk, I mean, they were out in that awful weather, and every single time when there's terrible weather, and I think about our crews being out there at the airport and the electrical crews, it just reminds me that we're really lucky that we have such talented people, who are willing to go out there and risk their lives for the safety of our community. So thank you for that. Also wanted to congratulate the Garden City Wind. And also, we're really fortunate out here in Southwest Kansas because the Garden City Wind, they won their championship. The Southwest Kansas Storm won their championship. So, we're surrounded by greatness this year. So if you're a sports enthusiast, this is a great place to attend a baseball game or a football game and just be proud of our sports that we have out here. It's one of those things where when somebody tells you there's nothing to do, this is just something that you can say, you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's really inexpensive entertainment too. Congratulations to Preston Martin on his retirement. Look forward to his retirement already this afternoon. And also congratulations to the city on receiving the Pathways Grant through Blue Cross and Blue Shield and El-Heat. I know it's definitely something that is well deserved, and also had a chance to go to National Night Out, and it's always a good time to get to meet the people in Garden City and meet your neighbors, but then also get to for those of us, for commissioners, we get to ride along with the police department, and so to kind of get a deeper understanding or a deeper dive with our police officers and our firefighters and city employees at all of those events is also a good time too. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Canales.
Everything everybody else said. I wanted to mention, the Tally-Tell improvement, that partnership coming together and being able to have good trails and walking areas for the community. Also, congratulations to the Garden City Wind. I went to a couple of games this year, and it's incredible to see the amount of support of the community coming together. I want to recognize or acknowledge their official band that they had that showed up. I also want to just thank everybody for coming together and make it a great day.
Thank you. Commissioner Cessna.
I'll just echo what all the other commissioners noted. Like Commissioner Oyler stated, if you say there's nothing to do in Garden City, you're not really trying very hard. But congratulations to the Garden City Wind on their success for this season. Also, the grant with Blue Cross Blue Shield on enhancements at Tally Trail. I know over the summer we've been working really hard to enhance and connect all of the walking paths in our community to integrate the entire community together. So that's a really good thing. But this really will help enhance Tally Trail as well, using the grants from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Also, just wanted to mention too that there is registration continuing for the Kansas League of Municipalities, their annual meeting events coming up in early October. So if the commissioners would like to attend that event, always good to reach out as other commissioners and visit with other communities during that time. It'll be held in Wichita this year. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Yeah, a really full couple weeks for all of us and all the events in our community. So exciting. It was really fun to be at the Garden City Arts banner auction. We did pick up a banner to display here in our large meeting room, so I'll be excited once that gets framed and we'll put it up. Prevention Night at the Pool, hosted by Livewell, was a very exciting event to be able to see all their community members connect with resources for their families and resources on substance abuse, substance prevention, and hopefully that can catapult them to live a very healthy life into the school year this year. I also had the opportunity to be at the Garden City Wind Championship game, and that was such a fantastic joy to see our community band together and to recognize how much sport brings us together in this community, how exciting that could be, but also to remember of the 110-degree days in the concession stand after a loss when I was in high school helping out there. Those were tough days, but to be in the stand and to see them win a championship was so incredible. As you guys know, the water tower went up, and I think that moment was a really good realization of, oh my goodness, Garden City is growing massively. And so to see a water tower go up was also really big for me, because I think those are the iconic landmarks that you remember as a child in Garden City. And so to see a new one go up in a very modern style that will last us for decades to come, incredible. Also the new mural at the rec, what an amazing thing to see, and the collaboration that went into that. So awesome. And also thank you to Casey Quintana and also Beth Coxel for their collaboration to get this Pathways grant in order, and just impressive collaboration back and forth. And my last thing on this list is I had an opportunity to sit down with the communications crew for the Garden City stake of the Church of Latter-day Saints to talk about Just Serve and how that can be more utilized in our community and the relationships that they're looking to build. And it was a very humbling moment to recognize that we have so many opportunities to volunteer and how willing people are volunteering in our community. Hopefully that conversation allows us to generate a lot more ideas and how we can utilize community service within our community. And last item on our agenda is just some minutes from the Garden City Regional Airport Advisory Board, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.